What's up, YouTube? Welcome once again back to the channel. It's your boy Alan Spidey, back with another review of sorts, continuation of a video I did previously. Nicest professional wrestlers that I've met. So we're gonna keep that one going here, and we're gonna add on to that list. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And we're going to start this continuation with former WWE diva Molina. I met, and like I said too, I'm going to try to make this list, I said this in the previous video, I'm going to try to make this list more about like experiences where I didn't like have to pay to meet the wrestler. Because in my opinion, like if you're paying to meet them, there's probably a chance they're probably going to at least attempt to be nice. So I'm going to go with the experiences that like I got without paying. This one is Molina. And I met Molina at Chicago Comic-Con 2012. Now, I know what you're thinking. You go to a Comic-Con, you're probably supposed to be paying for those pictures. Well, here's the deal. I was actually in line to meet John Morrison. And I was going to buy a pair of his sunglasses that he wore to the ring. And maybe take a picture. We're both wearing the sunglasses. But man, this dude just like, he didn't give a shit. He just wasn't paying me no kind of attention. He was just, you know, talking to whoever was buying. He was tampering around with Molina, taking her coffee and then going back to his table and stuff. And like, I think Molina knew I was getting annoyed. She knew I was getting very irritated. And I probably waited for like 5 minutes for John Morrison to stop clowning around. So finally, Molina says to me, "Hey, sweetie, if you want to take a picture with me, you can come over here and do it. I won't even charge you." So I was like, all right, cool. I was actually debating getting Molina's picture after that anyway. But for her to say that, you know, I'm sorry, he's being an asshole, basically. Come on over here and get a picture with me. That was cool. That was cool. So I went over to Molina, you know, introduced myself. She introduced herself. She complimented all my tattoos, told me how she loved all my tattoos, said, you know, you're a nice, well-built guy and stuff like that. And I told her thank you. And I told her I was a fan for a long time, loved her entrance. She probably had one of my favorite entrances for any female wrestler, with the exception of Velvet Sky. But yeah, chatted up a little bit. Went over to, like, behind where she sits and everything, and got a nice little picture, and then we even took a Polaroid after that, and she signed the Polaroid and said, "Alan, it was a pleasure meeting you. I love all your tattoos." So Molina makes this list. I'm really glad that I met her, and you know, the circumstances were kind of unfortunate, but hey, it all paid off, and Molina makes this list. I think for my next choice, I'm going to go ahead and have to mention the time I met The Miz. I met The Miz at a house show in Rockford, Illinois, I believe in 2015. And the funny thing is, there was a fan out there who was like, "Hey, Miz, it's my girlfriend's birthday. Come on over and take a picture." I don't think he believed it for one bit, neither did I. I'm pretty sure this guy was saying that to everybody just to like get him over there. And I seen Miz at a couple of shows before this, and he really wasn't stopping to do anything. I'm like, there ain't no way this dude's going to stop. He did. He actually came over to the guy and said, "You know, I could stop and take a picture for your girlfriend, or I could stop and take a picture for all these lovely fans." And my God, Miz stopped and took pictures with anybody that wanted one. So when it came to my turn to take the picture, I had my European Championship replica at the time. He's like, "Cool replica, dude." I was like, "Thanks, man." And the best part about meeting The Miz, aside from getting the picture with him and, you know, talking to him for, you know, 45 seconds or whatever, not real all that long, I actually got on the news with The Miz. The news team from Rockford actually recorded the footage of me meeting The Miz. So that's definitely one of the reasons why this experience here makes the list. And also because Miz was just a really chill dude. And the fact that he stopped for everybody like that, that was cool, man. I mean, Miz, I totally believe your tagline, man. You are awesome. You take your time up for fans like that, man. You got my respect. Real talk. Pleasure meeting him. Next choice. Man, this one's going to hit me hard. Rosie, former WWE talent from 3 Minute Warning. He used to tag with Jamal, who you also knew as Umaga. And he also had the superhero gimmick with Hurricane. I met Rosie. I mean, I kind of met him in 2005 at a house show when he came over and gave me a high five during his after his tag team match with, I believe it was Maven and Simon Dean. But I'm not going to really count that one because that's more of a high five, not really meeting him. But I met Rosie. I actually was booked in the same wrestling show as him in my hometown of Freeport, Illinois, at a show called Wrestle Rock in 2011. This was kind of when I was still, this was in my maybe first 2 years of me being a wrestler. And I was booked on the same show as Rosie. I actually opened up that show in my match. And I think maybe Rosie might have been at the middle of the card. He was tag teaming with a guy by the name of Dan the Man. By the way, Dan the Man, you're an awesome guy too, man. And he was tag teaming with him. Now, the thing with Rosie is while he was out wrestling, I actually kept his 2 kids company. His son and his daughter was out there playing freeze tag with his son and his daughter. I actually met the guy before the show started, too. Took a nice little picture with him. But the thing about Rosie, man, is when he was done wrestling and stuff, you know, I kind of went over and chatted with him again during intermission. And, man, this dude, he told some awesome Umaga stories. He talked about, you know, how his brother Roman was getting into it. I think this was around the time he was known as Licky or whatever his name was in SCW. Not the SCW that I wrestled in, but the developmental thing WWE had going on at the time. He had mentioned that, and you know, he was just talking about all the memories with Umaga, 3 Minute Warning thing. Talking about how Umaga would basically like protect the ladies and stuff if fans got too carried away. And, you know, I just thought that was really cool, man. I was just like, you know, I was a huge fan of Umaga, man. Umaga was that dude. And, you know, we were talking about when he was with Armando. We just chatted up for a nice little couple of minutes. He was a nice guy, you know. He was like, I appreciate you keeping my kids company, man, while I was wrestling and stuff like that. And you could tell this dude was, like, all about his kids. You could just tell. As soon as he got out of that ring, man, he was attached to his kids, and he was just... Man, I mean, I got the utmost respect for this dude, and I'm just so sorry that he passed. Even, you know, he even introduced himself with his real name of Matt. You know, I know you're no longer with us, Matt, but seriously, dude, that's a memory I will never forget, man. You were an awesome worker, and you were a hell of a guy, and you know, your kids, they were sweet, man. That was something, man. So, rest in peace to Matt. Rest in peace, man. You definitely left a good impression on me, man. That's for sure. Let's see. For my next one, I'm gonna go with. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes. And it's funny that Cody Rhodes is making this list because I'm gonna do a list. I don't know when. A little bit later about some not so good experience I've had meeting wrestlers, and let's just say don't be surprised if you see Cody pop up on this list, but that was kind of pop on that list. I mean, not this list, because this is the nicest wrestlers list, but that one was back like when Cody was still kind of new. This was like late 2008. That experience wasn't so great, but I'll talk about that a little later. Anyway, show in Rockford, 2024, shortly before Cody was getting his second shot at the WWE Championship against Roman. So I made a sign for Malin with some artwork of Cody on it. He was doing this whoa pose with the pyro and all that. And the sign had actually said it was for Malin, and it was basically asking Cody for his belt. Now, when Cody's tour bus got into the parking lot, first thing he did was come over and sign the sign for Malin. And he took a selfie with me and pretty much everybody that was in the front of that line to say hello to Cody. He took a nice little selfie with me and all that. And so me and Malin had front row seats to that show on the floor. And when Cody came out to the ring, I noticed he did spot the sign. But when he came out, he walked past. And his belt that we were asking for on the sign, he actually gave it to another kid. And I thought for sure, man, Malin was going to be heartbroken. But right after that, he did something. He backed up. He came over to Malin. He hugged her for probably about, I don't know, man, probably about 15 seconds. He said, "I'm so sorry, baby. I love you." And Malin said the same thing back to him. She's like, "It's okay. I love you too, Cody." And, that was a touching moment, man. If you can make Malin smile like that, you can make Malin believe in you. Even though she really wanted his belt and, man, you put a smile on my face too when you do something like that. And even after Cody's match, he came out and took a selfie with me and Malin. And I mean, he was there for a while just taking pictures with everybody, man, after he got done with his match. And I'm all about the wrestlers who stop and take their time off of the fans, because I mean, the fans do matter. They do. The fans are what make you the star, man. And Cody does not have an ego, man. This dude is all about the fans. So I want to say thank you, Cody Rhodes, for making a hero and a believer out of Malin. She looks up to you, man. Next person on this list, I'm going to say RTruth. I actually met RTruth a couple of times. I met him the first time in 2016 when I used to work as a paraeducator. I took my special needs student to a show. And he came over and took a picture with my special needs student, and he took one with me also. Just a really funny guy, he was just kind of out making the crowd laugh, all that. And then 3 years later, show in 2019, once again in Rockford, same situation. Dude, got out of his vehicle before he actually did head into the building, and he came back out to take pictures with everybody. I got another one with the dude, man. Just every time he interacts, he's just a super friendly guy. He's very entertaining to watch and stuff like that. And so RTruth makes this list, man, because like I said, if you take your time out and you go show your appreciation to the fans, you take your pictures and stuff like that, man, there's a very good chance you're going to make my list, especially if you do it more than once. It's like a situation with Natalia, more or less, where every time you see this guy, he's just interacting and he's super grateful. He's very appreciative of the fans. So RTruth makes this list. And for the next couple ones, I'm just going to do some like honorable mentions because I don't have photos with these people. But one person I really got to throw a good word out there for is Perry Saturn. I met Perry Saturn when I was wrestling at a show here in my hometown in 2013. And let's just say that there was another wrestler that really was not being the nicest to me. He kind of dropped some negative comments toward me because, he wanted to smoke a blunt and stuff before he went out there to wrestle, and I was like, no, man, I just don't do that. And then the comments he came at me with, they just weren't nice. And I'm not going to mention this wrestler's name. I'm not going to do that, at least not in this video. And I don't know, I really let it bother me, and mind you, I'm getting ready to wrestle in this show later, but I let it bother me. And Saturn, now I don't know if this was before or after his actual match. I think it might have been after his match because he came out and he chilled a little bit. He was sitting down, drinking a Diet Pepsi, and he was like, "Hey man, you look like you're down." He's like, "Don't even let people, get to you like that, man." He's like, "You're here because you should be here." He said, "And I'm overhearing that you do great things." He's like, "I hear you're like really great with kids. Like you go above and beyond for people and stuff like that." He was like, "That's all I heard is good things about you." He's like, "So don't let nobody get you down." He was like, "You're here in the business. These kids look up to you and stuff like that." And he was like, "You have my respect for that alone." I shook Perry's hand and I said, "Thank you, man. I really appreciate that." And I've never forgot it. I've heard some people say, Perry Saturn's not a nice guy, not this, not that. Yes, he is. At least in my opinion, man. He's one of the best guys that I've met in the wrestling business. And I will take that to my grave. And I highly doubt Perry Saturn is watching this video, but, I just want to say, man, I appreciate that, and I always will. So Perry Saturn, I had to throw out an honorable mention here. The only reason you weren't mentioned earlier is because I didn't get a picture with you. You know, I know you said you had some things to do shortly after your match. You wanted to hurry up and get out of town. I don't blame you, man. My city kind of sucks. But that's a moment that'll live with me forever. Another one, to this person here, rest in peace, former Chicago Bear Steve McMichael. He was actually a part of the same show where I met Rosie, but they were doing like a little short meet and greet before the show started, and he came over, gave me some compliments. He was, you know, telling me how good my physique was and stuff like that. I think he kind of joked around and like, he's like, I used to look like that guy back in my day, talking about the physique and stuff like that. Kind of made me smile a little bit, but you know, he was very friendly. I chatted with him like intermission, even when I was eating and stuff, you know. Dude came over, just was like, you know, how's it going for you and stuff like that and all that. And I just chatted up with him, talked about how, you know, I was a huge Bears fan back then. I wasn't so much into football at the time, you know, when I was like wrestling and stuff like that. But back when I was a kid, man, I was a huge Chicago Bear fan. I was telling him about when Ron Rivera came to our school and stuff like that. I really had a good time chatting with Steve McMichael. He was a really nice guy. And another situation, man. God bless his soul. Another memory that'll live with me forever. And I think for now, this is where I'm going to end this podcast. I just wanted to share a couple more experiences that I had, some more nice experiences that I had meeting professional wrestlers. So I hope you liked the video, you know, and if you do like the video, give me a like, and shoot, why not even give me a subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.
Here. Pro wrestling fans in the state line got their fix tonight. WWE came to Rockford to the BMO for one of its SummerSlam Heatwave shows. Fans gathered outside the BMO early seeking autographs and pictures with some of the stars. That's The Miz, Mike Mizanin there with the fan. This was the only time this year that WWE will appear in Rockford. Oh, how pumped up are you for tonight?
I don't know if I can put it into words. Every time I come here, the excitement, it never dies out. It's always the same. I'm more than pumped up.